What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we're going to be checking out the new Samsung Galaxy A41. Yes, another Samsung A series phone, and with this release, they've almost used up every number now. But if you've been keeping up with the A series line, this device obviously is the successor to last year's A40, with some upgrades to the design, the internal specs, and the cameras. The thing about this A41 though is that when compared to the rest of the 2020 A series phones, there are a few things about this device that don't make a whole lot of sense in the lineup, and I'll certainly get into that in this video. But for right now, let's just go ahead and unbox this thing and see what the A41 is all about. So at least at the time of filming this video, the A41 has been released in a few countries in Europe, and unfortunately, I don't know when it'll reach other regions or where else it may even be sold. I picked it up from Amazon Germany. It cost me about $280, but the price has already come down a little bit, which is good. And if you're interested in doing some comparison shopping of your own, or maybe want to buy this phone for yourself, I'll leave some links down below to where you can get this phone at its cheapest current prices. And if it's sold anywhere else, especially if it reaches the US market, I'll be sure to update those links too. The unboxing experience with the A41 is pretty much the same as the rest of the A series phones. Inside the package, the first thing we see is the phone itself, of course. This one is in Prism Crushed Blue, but it also comes in black, white, and red variations. I'll set it aside for just a second, and digging a little deeper inside the box, you can see we get a couple different accessories. The first thing here is just the regular old pair of wired earbuds. These are the cheaper all plastic ones, which aren't great, but it's still nice at least that they are included. Also with this phone, you get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable and Samsung's own 15-watt fast charger, this one being the European style adapter. Also, sort of hidden inside the lid of the box, you'll find one more packet of stuff, and in addition to the SIM ejector tool, this just houses the startup guide and some other paperwork. Unlike other A series phones, we do not get any included case here with the A41. So once again, here is the phone itself, and right off the bat, I think you can tell that it's design and finish that mimics pretty much all the other A series phones from the A31 on up. And yes, that little sticker on the back does come off too, so no worries there. Interestingly enough, the Samsung Galaxy A41 is actually a 6.1-inch phone, which in general is a bit smaller by 2020 standards, and if you're curious about where it fits in the lineup, it is the smallest phone from the A series besides the super small and much cheaper A01. So just keep that in mind, and the size really is just the first of many things about this phone that doesn't really line up with the rest of the A series phones, but we'll get into that in just a bit. If you've been wanting a smaller device though that fits more comfortably in one hand, this is a perfect option. It's a slim, comfortable phone that's still a bit taller with a 20:9 aspect ratio, but not so large or so tall that things are tough to reach. And I think another reason why this phone feels so slim is Samsung did a nice job keeping those bezels fairly small. While the A41 didn't receive the refreshed look of a hole punch cutout, the teardrop notch for the selfie camera is fine, and down at the bottom, the device really doesn't have that big of a bottom chin like we've seen on some other phones. The borders here are pretty even all around, which gives you a solid 86% screen to body ratio. From the front, the A41 looks pretty similar to the A40, but around back, this phone did get a bit of a redesign. You now have the shiny rainbow glass-stick finish and subtle striped design. Again, nothing new since most of the other A series phones get this fit and finish too, but still nice to see it come to this phone. And overall, I definitely like what we have here. I actually think the blue color looks really good paired with that rainbow effect. And like the rest of the phones in the lineup, it's an all plastic build, even the chrome frame and accents, but it doesn't really feel cheap at all. Samsung has just done a really nice job this year offering decent priced phones with less than premium materials, but while still making them look and feel pretty solid. Taking a look around at everything else, on the left side you'll find the SIM and SD card tray. On the right there's the volume and power buttons, and down below there's the headphone jack, USB-C charging port, and single speaker. Across the back, the other big thing you might notice is a decent upgrade to the cameras. A new triple lens setup with this phone, which I will get into in a little bit, but besides that, if you're coming from an A40, you'll probably also see that the fingerprint sensor has moved. It's now an in-display reader like we see a lot nowadays, and at least through the first couple of times using it so far and after setting it up, it's mostly fine. A bit slower than the old rear-mounted sensor, but that's common with these in-display readers. I think Samsung does an okay job on their A series with the in-display readers, but there's still some room for improvement. Luckily, you can pair the fingerprint sensor with Face Unlock, which is actually pretty good on this phone so far. That's the method I always prefer, but I'm glad to see you get both options here with this device. Like I mentioned earlier, the A41 offers a 6.1-inch screen, and the display here is the Super AMOLED panel with a 2400 by 1080 resolution, packing in about 431 pixels per inch. This screen is slightly larger than the 5.9-inch display from the A40 last year, but mostly everything else is the same. It's still a really good looking screen with bold, bright colors and plenty of detail. I think 1080 resolution is actually perfect on a screen this size, since you are still cramming in a ton of pixels. And like I've said probably a million times already before, Samsung really does offer one of the best viewing experiences for a budget and mid-range device with their A series phones. While you may be paying a little less going with the A41 compared to the A51 or A71, the screen is basically going to be the same, so no sacrifices in quality there. And even though the screen size is a bit smaller, like I said, you're still able to see all of your content and then some comfortably, given the minimal bezels. There's not really much else to say when it comes to the display. If you've experienced the AMOLED screens on the A series phones before, you know what to expect. They look great, especially for the money. And if you haven't yet seen them in person, it's really that viewing experience as a whole that I think is one of the main selling points for a phone like this. When it comes to the out loud listening experience, you get the same single downward firing speaker that all A series phones have. It's good, not great, and here's just a quick sample so you can get an idea. It sounds just like any other single downward firing speaker, and I'll just keep saying it until Samsung listens. It's definitely time for stereo sound even on these A series phones. In regards to the internal specs, this is another area of the A41 that isn't necessarily a negative, but sort of doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you compare them to the rest of the lineup. First off, this phone is powered by a 3500 milliamp battery. In general, that's okay. I think the physical size definitely has something to do with that. There's just not a whole lot of room to pack anything bigger. But I'm really interested to see how this phone holds up when we compare it to the A31, for example, that has a 5000 milliamp battery, and the A51 that has a 4000 milliamp battery. Fortunately, the A41 does support Samsung's 15-watt fast charging standard, which is nice, so juicing up shouldn't be an issue. But like I said, I'm a little skeptical and kind of concerned about longevity here, at least until I can put this phone to the test. Inside, the A41 packs the MediaTek Helio P65 processor paired with the Mali G52 GPU, 64 gigabytes of built-in storage with SD card expansion, and just one RAM option right now, 4 gigabytes. Now, honestly, these specs aren't terrible, but the thing that's a little weird is just the fact that the A31 has the same basic specs, the same processor and starting RAM option, but the A31 can be upgraded to 6 gigabytes of RAM if you want to pay a little more. So theoretically, the A31 has the potential to be a more powerful device with a bigger battery and with a bigger screen. And you can sort of start to understand why I have a hard time figuring out where this A41 really fits in. Either way, here are the Geekbench 5 scores, so you can get a numeric value on the performance. I haven't yet been able to run Antutu. It keeps crashing, but stay tuned for those scores if I can ever get it to run. And at least right out of the box, I have to say, the A41 does feel fairly quick. It ships with Android 10 and One UI 2 out of the box, and this is going to be basically the same software experience we've been used to all year long now. It's not quite as smooth as like the A51. You probably might expect it to be more comparable to the A31, but in general, it's not bad, and I think it can probably handle most everything you might want to throw at it. Like I said, the real sort of strange quirk with this phone is that compared to the rest of the A series phones, even though we get a higher model model number, I guess you could say, which usually means slightly better specs than the phone below it, or at least some sort of differentiating factor. You just don't get that here with the A41. Over last year's A40, this phone is an upgrade, obviously, but over the A31, I just don't really know if it's as clear. Finally, when it comes to the cameras, once again, this is just another area where things are a little questionable. The A41 packs a triple lens setup, which includes a 48 megapixel f2.0 main lens, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide shooter, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. What's missing here is the additional macro lens that the A31, A51, and A71 all have, which, to be completely honest, for me is actually fine. I never used the macro lens, but again, it's just weird that Samsung didn't bother to just throw it on there. Besides that, the rest of the hardware setup and software experience is about what you'd expect. It's very basic in regards to the features. There's live focus mode, pro controls, panorama, but no night mode, no 4K video recording, no slow-mo, no video stabilization either. So we're missing a bit, and I'm interested to see how this phone does perform. You do still get the 48 megapixel shooting mode, which is great if you want to utilize the full capabilities of the camera. And comparatively, this seems to be what's on the A31 and sort of close to the hardware of the A51, so there's some potential at least, and I'm excited to put the cameras to the test. Up front, the selfie camera is a 25 megapixel f2.2 lens, and just taking a couple samples here, the results are pretty decent actually. Skin tone and color look fairly accurate, the lighting is natural and looks pretty good. There's not a whole lot of detail unfortunately, but it's good enough. And even the portrait selfie isn't too bad at all with its background and foreground separation and edge detection. In general, Samsung has done a nice job improving the selfie cameras on their budget and mid-range phones, and I think this is just another good example of them making the right changes. So all in all, while I think the A41 is a decent phone on its own, I'm just still not really sure where this device fits. If it launches in regions where the A21, A31, or A51 just aren't sold, I guess it might make sense. Like I said, it's a solid device and has some benefits, like the more compact but still really nice AMOLED screen and enough internal specs to get the job done. But if you're looking across the entire A-series lineup and have access to all of these phones, the A31 is going to be a better deal and the potential for better specs. And the A51 is going to be the better phone for the money. So I just don't really know where this A41 really falls. But maybe you guys know more than I do. What do you think about the new Samsung Galaxy A41? Will this be a phone that you even consider? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts, of course. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.